Oh, have you heard the story of the village of Umuna? This village was renowned for its unique tradition, a custom that set it apart from the neighboring communities. In Umuna, a man's worthiness to marry was not determined by wealth, status, or lineage, but by his ability to endure pain with stoic fortitude. This practice, known as Igbanu Ikun, meaning test of endurance, had been passed down through generations. The Igbanu Ikun was held once every year during the Harmattan season, a time when the air was dry and the winds carried the dust of the Sahara. Young men of marriageable age would gather in the village square, eager to prove their mettle and win the hearts of the women they loved. The elders of the village, clad in their traditional garb and exuding an air of solemnity, presided over the event. Among the young men preparing for this year's Igbanu Ikun was Chidi, a tall and robust farmer with a heart full of dreams. Chidi was deeply in love with Adais, the daughter of the village blacksmith. Adais was known for her beauty and grace, and many young men had their eyes set on her. Chidi, however, was determined to prove that his love for her was unparalleled. The night before the event, Chidi sat with his father, Obi, around the fire. Obi was a man of few words, but his wisdom was well respected in Umuna. Chidi, Obi began, his voice calm and steady. Tomorrow will be a test not just of your strength, but of your spirit. Remember, true endurance comes from within. You must find the strength to bear the pain in your heart. Chidi nodded, absorbing his father's words. He knew the challenge ahead would be grueling, but his love for Adais gave him courage. As dawn broke over Umuna, the village buzzed with anticipation. The square was filled with villagers, eager to witness the spectacle. The young men, bare-chested and resolute, stood in a line waiting for their turn. Each carried a piece of cloth in their mouths, a symbolic gesture to remind them to remain silent during the ordeal. The elders, seated on a raised platform, began the proceedings with a prayer to the gods for strength and endurance. Then, one by one, the young men stepped forward to face the test. The village warriors, armed with long canes, administered the flogging. The rule was simple. Any cry or shout of pain would result in immediate disqualification. Chidi watched as several men took their turns. Some endured with remarkable stoicism, while others faltered, their cries echoing through the square and sealing their fate. Finally, it was Chidi's turn. He stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest. As the first stroke landed on his back, a searing pain shot through him, but he bit down hard on the cloth, focusing on his love for Adais. Stroke after stroke, Chidi's resolve was tested, but he remained silent, his eyes fixed on a distant point, his mind anchored by the thought of Adais' smile. When the ordeal was over, Chidi stood tall, his back bearing the marks of his endurance. The village erupted in applause, and the elders nodded in approval. Chidi had passed the test. That evening, the village celebrated with a grand feast. Chidi, despite the pain, felt a sense of triumph. He approached Adais, who had been watching the event with bated breath. "Adais," he said, his voice soft but firm, "I have proven my love for you. Will you accept me as your husband?" Adais' eyes glistened with tears of joy. "Yes, Chidi, I will." The village rejoiced at their union, and Chidi's endurance became a legend in Umuna. Days turned into weeks, and Chidi and Adais' love blossomed. However, the scars on Chidi's back served as a constant reminder of the pain he had endured. He often found himself reflecting on the tradition of Igbanu Ikun. While it had brought him Adais, it also made him question the necessity of such a harsh test. One evening, as they sat under the stars, Chidi voiced his thoughts to Adais. "Adais, I wonder if there is another way to prove one's love. A way that does not involve so much pain." Adais, wise beyond her years, nodded. "Perhaps, Chidi. Love should be about kindness and understanding, not just endurance. Chidi's reflections soon sparked discussions within the village. The elders, recognizing the changing times, called for a meeting to re-evaluate the tradition. After much deliberation, it was decided that while the Igbanu Ikun would remain a part of Umuna's heritage, it would no longer be the sole test of a man's worthiness. Instead, new tests of character were introduced: acts of service, displays of kindness, and demonstrations of wisdom. These new criteria, combined with the tradition of endurance, created a more holistic approach to proving one's love and commitment. Chidi and Adiz's story became a catalyst for change in Umuna. Their love, tested by tradition and strengthened by understanding, paved the way for a future where love and compassion were valued just as much as strength and endurance. And so, the village of Umuna thrived, its customs evolving with the times, yet always honoring the steadfast hearts of its people. The following year, Umuna held its first Festival of Kindness, a celebration designed to showcase the new ways of proving one's love and commitment. The festival included a series of events where young men demonstrated their worth through various acts. They built homes for the elderly, helped with the harvest, and organized educational activities for the children. Chidi, now a respected member of the village council, watched with pride as the young men embraced these new challenges. He saw in them a blend of strength, compassion, and wisdom that promised a bright future for Umuna. One young man, Namdi, particularly stood out. He had a gentle demeanor and a heart full of generosity. During the festival, he spent hours teaching the children how to read and write, sharing stories and knowledge with them. His efforts did not go unnoticed, and many villagers admired his dedication. Among the spectators was Ifeoma, a young woman with a passion for learning. She was captivated by Namdi's kindness and found herself drawn to him. They spent time together, discussing their dreams and aspirations. Namdi's gentle nature and genuine care for others resonated deeply with Ifeoma. As the festival drew to a close, Namdi decided to take part in the traditional Igbanu Ikun to honor the village's heritage. He faced the test with the same quiet strength he had shown throughout the festival. When it was over, he stood tall, his silence during the ordeal a testament to his resilience. With the approval of the elders and the admiration of the villagers, Namdi approached Ifeoma. "Ifeoma," he said, his voice filled with sincerity, "I have shown my strength and kindness. Will you accept me as your husband?" Ifeoma smiled, her heart full. "Yes, Namdi, I will." Their union was celebrated with great joy, symbolizing the harmonious blend of tradition and compassion that defined the new spirit of Umuna. Years passed, and the changes in Umuna's customs continued to flourish. The Festival of Kindness became an annual event, growing in scope and significance. It attracted visitors from neighboring villages, eager to witness and participate in the unique blend of tradition and modern values. Chidi and Adaizi's children grew up in a village where love was celebrated in many forms, through endurance, kindness, and wisdom. They learned the importance of balance and the value of each person's unique strengths. Chidi, now an elder, often shared his story with the younger generation. He spoke of the pain he had endured and the love he had won, but also of the importance of evolving traditions to reflect the true essence of love and community. As Umuna continued to thrive, its leaders remained committed to fostering a culture of compassion and resilience. They established schools, built new infrastructure, and created opportunities for everyone to contribute to the community's growth. The elders, including Chidi, often gathered to discuss the village's future. They knew that the key to Umuna's enduring success lay in its ability to adapt while honoring its heritage. One evening, as the sun set over the rolling hills, Chidi stood before the village, his voice strong and clear. "We are a village of steadfast hearts," he said. "Our strength comes not just from our endurance,